Although its core purpose, clothing serves for much more than just covering and protecting the body. It is a way to communicate status, lifestyle, identity, and belonging to a certain culture or subculture. It is also an important cue for describing other people, for example, the lady in the red dress. Analyzing visual content, in this case clothing, has many potential applications, ranging from the organization of documents, advertising purposes, to surveillance. Hello and a warm welcome to your 4th lesson of your professional diploma in fashion design with Shaw Academy. I am so excited that you have decided to join me today to explore the wonderful world of fashion. Today we will look at the definition of clothing classifications and break it down so that you will be able to recognize different fashion and clothing types. We will define and discuss style and explore developing a sense of style. I want to welcome all of you to lesson 4 of fashion design titled Finding Your Style. This lesson takes a good look at fashion and clothing and how to develop your own design style. Clothing can be divided into many parts, but before we look at how to successfully describe a garment, let us look at the bigger picture. Fashion is a massive industry, but can be broken down into 3 main categories, which can further be broken down into more specific subcategories. The 3 types of fashion are haute couture, ready-to-wear, and mass market. Until the 1950s, clothing was mainly designed and made for a specific person, and this we call made to measure, or haute couture, which is the French word for high sewing. Haute couture fashion is deemed highest quality and highest price, usually made with very expensive and high quality fabric and sewn, paying extreme attention to detail and finish of the garment. This process is often very time consuming, with a lot of time spent on hand executed techniques. A fashion house or a brand is only considered haute couture after the approval of the Haute Couture Committee. There are strict criteria to meet, like you must have a workshop in Paris that employs at least 15 staff members, and you have to design made-to-order pieces with at least one fitting with the client. These standards ensure that haute couture brands deliver impeccable clothing that fits the client perfectly. There are only 15 haute couture studios in Paris today, including Dior and Chanel. Ready-to-wear clothes are a cross between haute couture and mass market clothing. Ready-to-wear clothing are not made for an individual, but great care is taken into the choice and cut of the fabric. Ready-to-wear clothing is made in small quantities to guarantee exclusivity, which makes it rather expensive. The fashion design industry relies the most on mass market clothing as it is mainly what people buy in store and online. The mass market caters for a wide range of customers as it comes in a variety of clothing sizes, producing ready-to-wear clothing that aligns with the newest trends. To save time and money, clothing is made from cheaper fabric and simpler construction techniques are used. The priority of mass market clothing is to focus on quantity and not so much the quality of the clothing. Thus, the product can be sold for much cheaper. Clothing will either fall into the haute couture, ready-to-wear, or mass market category. With those, there are subcategories which include event type, season, and gender, just to name a few. By analyzing a garment, you will be able to determine what kind of garment it is and where it belongs. I have been using the term garment quite a lot. Before we look at the different types of clothing, let us define the term garment. A garment is a piece of clothing which is manufactured with two purposes: to protect the body and for decorative purposes. Presently, because there is no standard classification system, garments are classified based on the following aspects. The fashion types that we have just discussed, which are haute couture, ready-to-wear, and mass market. Seasons like spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And as we know by now, the fashion calendar has 52 seasons, so the more specific you are, like resort or pre-fall, the better. And then you can also classify a garment by gender and age, like women, men, and children. Garments can easily be identified or classified as a formal, semi-formal, or casual piece. Clothing can also be classified by their function or their purpose, like sportswear, bridal, outerwear, swimwear. The fabric used to create the garment will further classify it. Some examples are knitwear, woven, or non-woven. An example of non-woven is a piece of leather. It is also easy to identify the shape and style of the garment. Is it a dress, a skirt, or a pair of pants? You can also determine the length. We use the terms mini for short, midi for 3/4, or maxi for full or floor-length garments. And then you have your niche markets. There are many more, but I've listed 3 trendy ones that your garment might fall into, like unisex clothing, plus-size clothing, or adaptive clothing. Adaptive clothing is designed for people with physical disabilities like the elderly and the infirm who may experience difficulty dressing themselves due to an inability to manipulate closures such as buttons and zippers, or due to the lack of a full range of motion required for self-dressing. Before we look at some examples, let's look at your skill progression. As you can see, with every lesson you attend, you learn more skills in different areas: fashion theory, drawing and illustration, design development, pattern making, and garment construction. The more classes you attend, the more you will learn. Every lesson has important information to help you develop new skills, so please join me and let's smash your goals together. Now let's describe the garments together using the new information we have just learned. The first example is a garment designed by Dolce & Gabbana, and it is part of their ready-to-wear spring collection. It is designed for the women and has a more casual style. This is created from a piece of woven fabric, and we can see that it is definitely a dress. To be more specific, it is the full silhouette and quite short in length. The second example is an outfit designed by Burberry, and it is part of their ready-to-wear fall collection. This can be considered a unisex garment as both man and woman can wear it. The suit is a formal garment but can be semi-formal when styled more casually, like we see in the image. It is created out of both woven and non-woven textiles and consists out of a jacket, a pair of pants, and outerwear. The length is maxi or floor length. As a designer, it is important to look at your designs and analyze them for many reasons. 1. By analyzing your design or garment, you will be able to compare it to current trends and consumer habits. This way, you can determine relevance and success of your garment and easily identify how and where to improve it. 2. When selling, it is also important to describe your garment when it comes to advertising in order to successfully sell the garment to the right consumer. If you are a high fashion brand selling formal wear, then you cannot sell sportswear like leggings. 3. By analyzing your designs and your garments, you will start to notice a golden thread. Every one of us have things that we like and things that we don't like. This translates into what we design. This will also help you develop your own design style. Little fact about me, I never wore pants when I was little. I only wore dresses and skirts. As I started my design career, I've noticed that when I had to design pants, I felt lost, forced, and not creative at all. You do not need to design everything to be a good designer. To be a good designer, you need to find your style, develop it, and own it. We have discussed quite a lot of theory already. Remember, all of the summary notes and slides are available in your toolkit and would be really worthwhile to keep as a resource at your fingertips beyond this course. These will also help you prepare for your first assignment. Oscar Wilde said, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." The world loves originality, so instead of copying someone, strive to be the best version you can be. This lesson did not all of a sudden turn into a motivational speech, although it is important to apply this to your life too. It is important to find your voice and style as a designer to stand out from the rest. It will also help you to be more creative in the design process. I often talk about a golden thread running through your work. What I mean by that is that everything you create looks like it was created by your hands and your hands only, and does not feel or look disjointed. A good example of this is Chanel. Even if you are not super into fashion, most people will be able to recognize a Chanel garment due to its signature look and how it is translated into every new season. You do not need to reinvent the wheel every season. Consistency in style, fabrication, and application are key. Before we look at how to develop your design style, let us first define the word. Style is a distinctive appearance and manner of expression. Your physical appearance is usually the first thing people notice about you and gives people an idea of who you are. This is something you can control and develop. You need to ask yourself, how do I want people to perceive me and my brand? What kind of designer do I want to be? And what does my target market look like? We are going to discuss fashion in a religious and cultural aspect in the next module. But for now, it is important to understand that fashion is a cultural construction. Its existence is dependent on the complex interplay of economic, political, and ideological forces. If fashion is, like we said, a cultural construction, then fashion subcultures are groups organized around certain features of costume and appearance that render them distinctive enough to be recognized as a subset of a wider culture. Some of these subcultures depend on fashion for their existence. There are many different subcultures and style types, but we are going to go through some of the popular ones. You might notice that your personal style falls into one of these, or that one of these reflect the same style as your design style. A blast from the past. Vintage fashion is a culmination of fashion from the 20s to the 70s. It is one of the trends or styles that overcame the test of time and is becoming even more popular with the rise of buying second-hand clothing. Bohemian, or more commonly referred to as boho, is an arty, non-traditional style which often uses wild patterns and exotic textures. Chic. This is a smart and professional style that consists out of well-tailored and classy designs, often in monochrome colors. Artsy. This style is all about making a statement with your clothing and does not follow the traditional norms by incorporating trends in innovative ways. Grunge. 3 words that describe this style are vintage t-shirts, ripped jeans, and leather jackets. Preppy is the geeky look inspired by uniforms usually worn at Ivy League colleges. Some popular clothing includes polo shirts, headbands, blazers, cardigans, and pearls. Sporty Style takes elements of sportswear like biker shorts, hoodies, or leggings out of the gym and into the street. Hipster is all about giving off the vibe that you don't care about being mainstream. Hipster fashion is about combining rocker and vintage styles like jeans and a vintage t-shirt or jersey and finishing the look with oversized glasses and a beanie. Electronic girl or boy mainly exists on the internet. The most recognizable traits are colorful strands of hair, heavy makeup, oversized clothing, and colorful accessories. Out of these mentioned, do you think you fall into one of these? My personal style and design style fall under the Bohemian category. Please share your thoughts with Morpheus. Talking about Morpheus, let's say hi to him. Since we believe in making our courses as accessible and interactive as possible, we understand and know that you will have a lot of questions during your lessons. I would like you to meet Morpheus, Shaw Academy's very own artificial intelligence bot. Morpheus is here to assist and answer any of your questions. Please remember to rate your interaction with Morpheus, as this will help us improve our answers. He will learn from your ratings and become even more intelligent. It is that time in the lesson where I give you a little sneak peek into lesson 5. We will build on the basics of fashion drawing and illustration. You will learn how to bring your sketch to life with color and rendering techniques. You will also be introduced to the fashion figure and dressing that figure with your fabulous designs. Having a unique visual style as a fashion designer makes a lot of sense. Your style will and should always come through. It differentiates you from other designers. Here are 6 steps to follow that will help you develop your design style. Exposure. You need to expose yourself to a wide variety of inspiration and find things that resonate with you on an emotional level. In time, you will notice a theme or pattern used to develop your own unique style. Knowledge. When you have a good understanding of design, it will help you judge what resonates with you. For example, the 3 fashion types and clothing classifications. Go through the list and tick off what appeals to you most. Experiment. Play around with different styles and techniques. Allow yourself the space and the time to try new things without fear of failure. Somewhere within the experimentation, you will discover something new that you can add to your design style. Creative constraints. It is a technique that can help you create a unique visual style. For example, only use one type of fabric or only use curved lines in a design. The more creative your constraints are, the more creative the results will be. An example of the creative constraint technique is Dr. Seuss. He would write his books only using 30 to 120 words. Due to this, his writing style is strange, but unique, and people love it. This self. Exploring yourself can help you find your design style and voice. You can use this to make meaningful connections with your target market, and it can set your work apart from the others. And then your sketchbook. In our very first lesson, we spoke about the importance of a sketchbook. Keeping a sketchbook will help you notice patterns in your creative process and help you notice your strengths and weaknesses. It will also make you more self-aware and help you figure out what kind of work you want to make more of. Finding your design style is a process, and deciding on something now does not mean you cannot change it in the future. You will evolve as a designer, and that is okay. Apart from personal growth, there are also many other factors that will influence your design style. Fashion forecasting is the prediction of mood, behavior, and buying habits and patterns of the consumer that focuses on the upcoming trends. Fashion trends are influenced by several factors, which include political, social, economic, and technological factors. Fashion forecasters, also known as trend researchers, can use this information gathered to help determine the growth and success of a trend. When it comes to your personal design style, the key is adapting these trends to your style, personalizing them, and making the trends work for your customer. Let's say that animal print is trending, but your customer does not like animal print that much. What do? Instead of scaring them away or overwhelming them by designing a dress made entirely out of animal print, as we can see in the first image, instead use it as a trim or a small detail like the cutouts in the second image. Learn as much about those who came before you and who inspires you the most. It is important for you as a new designer to explore successful designers' work like techniques, style, form, composition, and their philosophies. See them as your mentor and take their advice and incorporate it into your explorative design process. For this lesson challenge, I want you to explore your personal style and find yourself a fashion mentor, and explain why his or her design style resonates with you. Please share a photo of your favorite fashion piece created by this mentor on your favorite social media channel, and do not forget to use the #SureFashionMentor. Since I was little, I wanted to be a fashion designer. The beautiful thing about fashion is that it is always changing, which means there is never a boring moment. The more I learn about the industry, the more I fall in love with it, and I honestly cannot imagine doing something else. Why did you sign up for this course? I want you to think about this for a second, and if you feel like it, please share your reason with me. My job is to provide you with a holistic view of the fashion industry with theoretical and practical substance. At the end of this course, you should be able to successfully turn conceptualization of design into the realization of design with the variety of skills learned in this course. And this brings us to your second weekly assignment. I strongly encourage you to complete the end of lesson quiz as well as your weekly assignments, as they will prepare you for your final module assignment. Congratulations! You have finished lesson 4 of module 1 of your fashion diploma. Thank you so much for joining me. I have really enjoyed having all of you in my virtual classroom. I hope to see you all here for Lesson 5, Drawing from Inspiration. I want to take a moment to remind all of you that this is a brand new course and it is hot off the press. You are literally one of the first students to see this amazing and interactive content. Unfortunately, as it is a brand new course, we may run into a few delays. If you notice that the next video or any content is not available, do not fear. We are working in the background to make the next lesson happen as soon as possible. To make sure that you continue learning, why not sign up for one of our other courses in the meantime? A course that links well with this one is our graphic design course presented by Annerie Duplessis. Remember that you have access to all of our courses at no additional cost, so feel free to check out the ones that interest you the most. After all, knowledge is power, and knowledge never goes out of style. Until next time, as always, stay fashionable.